Arizona, homeowner's best friend.
So I was going to ask about peat moss, because ever since you talked about your soil acting like a sponge at the beginning, I was, if you've ever had or played with any of the peat moss you get at a garden store, it's like a natural sponge. You add water to it, and it's
great.
Is that an additive on top of the gypsum that you put into your soil, or when and how do you apply peat moss?
You definitely can, and that's one of those things that source-wise, it's a little harder to come by ecologically. It's harvested from the northern states and stuff, and Canada, and these are ancient patches of all this peat moss. And so for a more sustainable approach for us, it's like, I definitely like peat moss if I don't have anything else available that might work, but I like using even coconut coir, or we'll use just...
Oh, yeah, since we have so many coconuts here in Arizona.
Yeah, well, that's another reason, right? So shredded, but oddly enough, we process a lot of coconut stuff here. So there is some excess coconut coir that's kind of in the southern states, which is weird, but it's
cool.
It's actually more accessible than peat moss.
And
more renewable than peat moss, so that's the other thing.
And I don't know anything about the coconuts or processing, but I would imagine we do it because it's a drier climate, so it probably preserves it longer instead of, a moisture climate where, mold would, or other, stuff would just start growing. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That it would be a big manufacturing destination for that product.
So other things like shredded paper or shredded cardboard, that actually works pretty good. Oddly enough, something we've been playing around with is it's sheep wool. So sheep wool actually is a better and more renewable source for that same type of peat moss effect that you can get from sheep wool. And obviously I've got some sheep, and so we play around with stuff, especially if you got a dark colored sheep. You get the black sheep in the family, that's actually a good thing for your garden. It's because it's darker in color, and so you don't notice as much, but it acts in a similar fashion as does a peat moss in your garden as a moisture controller, and actually it deters a lot of other pests and things too. So it's kind of a fun thing. If it's kind of a new age thing. So if you want the new age approach, go find some little bit of sheep stuff.